Hello, everyone, and welcome to Girlfriend, We Got You. Today, we're going to discuss I Am Worthy, which is a great topic. This is Melissa Marie, and I am with my co host, the beautiful Ashley Allen.
Hey, Mel.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. You look so good this morning.
Oh, thank you. So do
I
you.
I keep staring at your glasses and I'm just like, I need a pair like that. I love them. They're so cute. Uh,
I love wearing glasses. I'm used to wearing my contacts, but I do. I love wearing my glasses, so I appreciate that too. I do.
yes. Oh yes, I love it. So I love how guys, before we hopped on to record, me and Mel were talking about what we wanted to discuss today. And Mel, you were like, I really feel like I am worthy, needs to be the theme. And we need to discuss, things that women go through and why we feel unworthy and, how to get our power back and everything. And it really resonated with me personally because I'm going through some changes in my life and I need that reminder. So I feel like it's just really fitting.
Yeah, and I agree. We're both going through things, and I mean, I have been constantly trying to remind myself, like, I am worthy of this. I am worthy to go through this, because we are conditioned. I feel, um, especially as women, to feel that we're not worthy enough to have everything that we want in our lives, and we really truly are. We're worthy to have everything. And what really popped in my head to do our podcast on this, I was on my Peloton this morning, and I have not been able to truly like work out like I used to because of my surgery. And I've been dealing with a lot of depression from my surgery. So I was like, I just got to move my body. So I'm like, even if I just jump on the Peloton and I'm just like, moving my legs and I'm not really working my upper body, I at least am getting that movement. And the instructors are unbelievable, unbelievable. So this morning I was with Kendall, which she's just super cute. And she was just like, I want you guys to say, I am worthy. I'm like, yeah, girl. I'm like, I am worthy.
Oh,
That's
yes.
just what I just needed to hear. And I feel like it's something that we need to like say to ourselves on a regular basis, especially if we're not conditioned to really feel that way.
No, absolutely. Because we are like designed to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. And there's so many things that come along with being a woman. So, we're scrutinized for not having children if we don't want to have children. We're scrutinized if we have children, but we don't stay home with them and we work. We are, it's weird because it's almost like, and I read this online and I'm trying to remember what it was word for word, but I'm going to summarize it. But pretty much women are born into the world automatically being something for somebody else.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the role, whether it's being a good wife for somebody or being a good mother or being a good daughter, keeping having this checklist, so to speak, right? And um, it's almost like, we have to walk this fine line in order to be of value, or
Yeah,
to have worth, right? you know
absolutely.
so it's really mind blowing to me because I know that I've recently witnessed that I say I'm sorry a lot.
Oh, yes. I do that a lot. A
Yes.
lot, a lot. I even had a client once, and I'll never forget it, say, "Melissa, don't say that." And it caught me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're totally right." I don't need to why do I need to be sorry? Like, why am I constantly saying I'm sorry?
Right. I agree. It's really funny. A couple years, I don't know if you ever saw the movie A Simple Favor with Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively.
No.
Oh my God, you've got to watch it, Mel. You literally
Okay.
have to watch A Simple Favor. It's so fucking good.
Okay. All right.
But Blake Lively is great in the movie because Anna Kendrick's very meek and she's like doesn't have a lot of friends and they're moms, right? But one's a business mom, one's a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And so Blake Lively gets her over to her house and for a play date with their kids, and she's like, "Do you drink?" She's like, "I'll make you a martini." And she's like, "Oh, I guess." And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And she kept apologizing for just little shit. And Blake Lively turns to her and she goes, "Stop fucking apologizing. Don't ever say I'm sorry. Ever."
Yeah.
And it was so funny because when I saw that scene in that movie a few years ago, I was like, huh, that's, I never heard anybody tell me to stop saying that, right? Like that, right? As a woman. And that's kind of what she said in the movie. She's like, "You're a woman. You don't ever have to apologize for any fucking thing." And so, like, I loved it so much. And so fast forward to a couple years later, I'm trying to, decondition myself
Right.
and from all of the societal pressure. And I'm seeing more and more where it was like, women, stop apologizing just for being, right? Like it got to
Mhm.
the point where I'm saying sorry and I'm in the grocery store. Like I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Oh, I'm so
I
sorry."
do I do that all the time, and I'm
Like,
like, "Why am I saying that? I need to be
exactly.
saying, 'Oh, excuse me.'"
Yeah, excuse me, pardon me, or
Pardon me.
I need to get by, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, Mel, like so many things. And I follow the female lead on LinkedIn and on Instagram and on Facebook. And they post so many, I encourage our listeners to follow this account. And I'm going to include it in the show notes, but
Yeah.
they literally post so many wonderful, empowering stories of women and things that we need to decondition from. And
Right.
and they promote that worthiness factor, like, hey, we don't have to have this checklist that society says. We're worthy
No.
just as we are, you know.
Right. Right.
So good.
And we are. Like, if you want something in your life, you are worthy of having whatever it is. And don't feel like you have to take on the world on your shoulders to accomplish that, because that is not the case whatsoever.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know, it's just it's so and I think one of the things also is like I say this and I wish I was more healed when I had children.
Oh, me too.
Because like we're both
Oh,
raising daughters and we're
and
raising
sons.
boys. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we want to show both genders,
Yes.
like these stereotypes, and we want to educate them and be like, "Look, but this is not the way it is." Right?
No, yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard. It's such a like I come from a family that growing up like yelling was a big deal. And then like even as an adult where my father wasn't around, when I would have a relationship with my father, it was extremely toxic. No matter how hard I wanted the relationship, it was just super like he had this really old way of thinking, and almost to a sense where it was like his thought process towards women was extremely disgusting.
Yeah.
So I never felt even as a child being worthy enough. So it carried through as an adult. So it is a lot of like reconditioning yourself and making yourself, you got to first start feeling within that you're worthy. Like honestly. And I believe the first time I even started feeling that was when I first started tapping with you. Do you remember that? Like years ago?
I do remember that.
And I don't even think I could have said the words "I am worthy." I remember you had me do the "I am worthy," and I think I like my voice crackled, and I couldn't even say the words "I am worthy," and I just lost it because I never felt that I was really worthy enough to have the things and to have the love And it's like the life that I've always wanted. I just did not feel that I was worthy enough. And I remember after that thinking too, I was like, I don't want my kids to grow up how I grew up. It was
Right.
horrendous. It
Yeah.
was totally horrendous. And my mom was an introvert. She was like more that meek apologizing. And my father was like a monster. And it was just awful. And I was just thinking with my kids, like, I need to change myself and then I need to educate my children because I want my child, my son, to grow up strong, but mindful and thoughtful and there and in the moment. And I want my daughter to grow up strong, mindful, and in the moment too. It goes like both directions. And to have that self worth inside to give that out to the world too.
Right. No, I remember doing that with you as well. And when I was doing the tapping, I remember before you, I had demonstrated it to a group. We were doing it as a group healing thing. And I broke down. I had the same experience.
Mhm.
And it was like I was saying things like, I am enough. And
Yeah.
I am worthy, like those kind of things. And I broke
Oh,
down, and it, for some reason, the words I am enough really triggered me. And like
yes.
I just, it all came flowing out because I grew up in a home where my mother was cast aside a lot by her family, and then the men that she had relations. My father, she was, I mean, he physically abused her, and I witnessed it a lot when I was very young. And so it was very similar situation. It was very awful upbringing. And, she tried to do her best with that level of emotion that she was at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I almost feel that way with my own mother. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like when I think back to the way I was raised, like, I don't have any harsh feelings towards my mother because I honestly feel she really did her best in the moment and at that time. Like,
Yes.
and it even goes back to the way she was raised and conditioned and all of that also.
Hmm.
So um, I don't have any of that those, but I remember, her struggling and she probably still does struggle with it too, of that feeling that I am enough, I am worthy. Because as women, we do have so much put on our shoulders. And if you grow up with abuse, and if you grow up being around, especially men in particular, that were like these really toxic individuals, I mean, not only is it hard on your psyche, but it's even hard on your body. And you do have to change that to get in this like a healthier state.
Right. Yeah, I think that one of the things that I know for us, you and I, is that we didn't have a stable, a solid male figure
No.
at all in our lives. And even for me, the couple of male figures I did have were my uncles when I was very little. But then they honestly, they kind of treated my mom like the black sheep too. Okay. So I mean, even though they were sweet, and they did spend some time with me and did some things with me when I was young, and because my dad was very abusive and then he ended up passing away, it was just like, you know still, I still saw like the difference in behavior when with people towards my
Right.
mother, because she kind of had this stigma attached to her. Now, even though the boys did similar things as her growing up, getting into trouble, partying, stuff like that, she's the one that caught the heat for it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's the one that got scrutinized the
Yeah.
most because we as women are held to a different standard. I don't
Oh.
I
That's
mean,
you know what? When I think back to my mom, it's kind of the same thing with my mom. Because
mm,
I remember when she was kind of branching out and doing her thing, she would tell me stories, and she was like, because she was held at a different level, that she was scrutinized too
mhm.
growing up. Yeah.
I mean, and if you think about it, even if you come from a home, right? Like, even if you come from a home where you don't have a mom that was the black sheep or anything like that, but you have a mom that was expected to hold it all together, and that
Yeah.
if her husband was acting out, or if her sons or whatever, everything fell on her, it was her fault. Because my grandmother, that's actually how it was for my grandmother. Like, her marriage was falling apart, her children were having problems, she was trying to work and do all of this stuff, and she got scrutinized because it was all her fault. Because what is she not doing? What are you not doing?
Right.
What are you not doing for your husband? What are you not doing for your children? You should be X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So it was like that. And then my great grandmother, she was one of nine. And so it was very much ingrained in her, like she was supposed to be this powerhouse woman, like
Yeah.
you have to do the cooking, the cleaning, this is how you have to live your life, and so she was like, there was a lot of harsh conditioning there as well. So it's crazy to see how this has all been passed down to us, and we don't even realize it,
No, we don't. And
you
it's
know?
it's and you would think in today's world, and in today where women, you know, people are changing their thought process like towards women, our society is changing,
Yes.
that it would be better. But I almost feel like it's almost harder because now like you have to work, you have to take care of the kids, you have to take care of the husband. Like there's more pressure on you to have this like what so-called society wants. So the pressure is there and you're not feeling worthy enough. If you can't like make these expectations, you don't feel worthy enough. I mean,
Mm-mm.
even on the school level, like I deal with stuff with my kids on a school level, and I'm just thinking of my son in particular. There has been times where I have been looked at as not like the best mom or whatever they might think of their like thought process was, and it lowered my like
Yes.
worthiness because I was like, I am like working my ass off. I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I am like going to bed like at 9, 10, trying to make sure the kids are in bed, fed, even getting up in the morning, fed, off to school, like I'm doing the whole shebang. Plus, I am like on the side taking care of my business, taking care of my home. Like, and when you get that type of judgment, it does like take down your self-worth.
You know what's nuts? I just thought about this when you were speaking, because I was like, even if I know we both love our children and we love being moms.
Oh yeah.
And as many hard times we have, it doesn't matter. We get back up again and just try to do better the next day.
Oh, absolutely.
But there are some women that are just like, that's not for me. And
Right.
I just think like how crazy it is that, a woman will get scrutinized if she's trying to, if, even if she's struggling and trying to keep it all together and trying to bust ass and do all this and raise her child. But then she'll also get scrutinized for deciding to having a have an abortion because
Mhm.
she chooses this life instead. And she's just saying, I can't do this. This is not for me.
Yeah.
I did not mean for this to happen. But it's like people, but then people want to scrutinize women for that too, right? I mean,
Oh,
I'm just saying there's no win-win here. There's
there
just no
is
win.
no
There's
win-win because there are like the women who are like, this is not my life. I don't want to get married, or I want to get married with no kids, or I just don't want any of it. I want to be on my own. And yeah, I mean, they definitely got scrutinized for that.
Yeah, and it's really bizarre to me. And you can be pro-life, pro-choice, whatever. This is not to say one way or the
No,
other. You
no.
believe what you believe, and that's completely okay. And I'm not trying to say one way or the other. I am just proving a point that it doesn't matter the choice you make as a woman.
No.
you will get scrutinized for it and made to feel like you are less than.
Yes.
Because it's crazy. We really are expected to be well educated, not depend on anybody, um, not be overly emotional, not be overly bossy, be look
Right.
fabulous, be bounce right back after you have a child.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
just all of these outrageous things. And I always, there's another thing. I love movie references, by the way. But there's this thing where I in Pride and Prejudice, where the movie,
Yeah.
what's it with Anna? What's her name? Oh God, I can't remember her name.
I'm so bad with actors and actresses, so don't even ask me. I just know what they look like. I'm like, oh,
Yes,
the one with the good hair.
I think it's her name, Anna, or no, I can't even remember. But anyway, she's in there and they're talking and they're saying how a woman should be. And one of the women are like, yes, a woman should be well educated, know how to dance, draw, speak so many languages, play the pianoforte, all this stuff. And she just turns to her and says, I never saw such a woman. Like,
That's so
and
true.
she said, and what a fearsome thing to behold if there ever was one. Like
Right.
it just
I love that.
it just made me laugh because I'm like, the expectations are fucking insane. Because for men, and I'm not trying to down men at all. I
No,
know there are some
there really
wonderful
are.
men, and but the way that it is, and men have their own struggles. Let's be fair
Mhm.
here. They
Yeah,
really
they
do.
do.
They're taught to keep in the emotion, don't show weakness, be strong, 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 take it like a
Yeah.
man, and work and make all this money and just be this like unshakable force.
Right.
You
Which
know,
is so wrong because
right.
they have souls and feelings and, to have, to like pretty much have this stigma on them that they have to have this wall up to be like a true man all the time is so wrong. So
Yeah.
wrong.
And it's awful. And so
It
because they
is.
have their own struggles where, society paints them as not being enough if they,
Ugh,
you know, stray outside the lines, right?
right.
And so I'm not trying to say, one's better than the other or this or that.
No.
But I will say though that, you know, men also seem to, some men, not all, but they also seem to think it's okay to point out things about women when they aren't up to quote unquote their standards. Like
Right.
I saw something that was really outrageous to me, and it said something along the lines of a man posted it, and it was like it said whenever she claims to be an independent, hardworking woman, but she still receives child support.
What?
I
Oh,
was like, okay. So I was like, oof. I was like, someone's not happy that they have to actually pay for their child. And
oh my God. I could go on so many levels with this. Oh,
I know, which is funny because both of us have had the same issue where we don't get child support. Like the amount is really like so small, and then like the majority of the time we don't even receive it. So it's really funny.
I know.
It's like we just but to see that kind of blew me away because I actually knew somebody a woman that received like, oh my God, I think like 2,400 a month in child support.
Oh, I know people who have received that much or more,
But
but
they still work. Like she went to college, she got her degree, she was working, she was a nurse, she's a nurse, and like she works her ass off. And I'm like, what? But even if she did it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
well, and here's the thing. I would have loved to have seen the post of how much it costs to raise a freaking kid and who's paying for what. And
Exactly.
I have met fathers that have paid, their fair share or their half. Um, and honestly, I have seen fathers who don't pay shit or their mothers pay for their portion of whatever needs to be taken care of the
It's
kids.
insane.
Um, so it costs a lot to have a child, and it really does need to come from both sides. And that's
Mhm.
where that child support, like, I don't know, like, oh, that's
That,
just,
yeah,
I can't
that post
believe
was so gross.
that is well, I've seen a gross post too where someone posted, um, it was like directions of like women, like on one side, there was a woman in her 40s, like totally fit, perfect body, and all of that. And then another, like on the other side of it, there's a woman in her 40s that are that gained weight, like had the tummy, had the butt, like was all hormonal in the guy. And then there was like the divorce guy in the middle or something like that. And I remember seeing it and being like, you know what? That's kind of bullshit because I'll tell you what, when you hit 40, especially after you've had kids, your hormones change and you gain hormonal weight. Just saying that. So
Yeah,
men don't have to deal with like hormonal weight.
right.
And if you're taking care of, it goes back to the whole thing of being perfect. Like, I only have, like, personally, like 30 to 40 minutes to spend in a day to work out. I don't have 2 hours to spend at the gym. Sorry.
Yeah,
I take care of kids, I take care of business. I don't have that time to be at a gym.
I know, it's so crazy. Like, I've seen, like, there's, I mean, the amount of shaming that happens,
There's so much shaming.
and it's one thing for, um, men to do it, right? Okay. Um, but it's a totally different ballgame when women shame other women.
Oh, I know.
And I've been guilty of this too. I am no angel. I've been
Yeah.
totally guilty of it. And even sometimes when people have pissed me off or hurt my feelings or whatever, I've had the thought process and I'm like, whoa, 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 I need to slow down. Like, me having these thoughts is not helping. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't want someone to, think this way or have these negative thoughts about me. So I need to just I mean, because it's a process to decondition from, right? So
Yeah.
it's really bizarre to me how we've also been taught to shame each other
Yes.
whenever we're not up to these societies, the societal standard. So
Oh,
that's another thing.
yeah. I mean, really, we should be joining forces and being there for each other and
Hmm.
not shaming each other. I am just, so against that,
Yeah. I mean,
really.
especially like, and just in the comparison thing is outrageous. I remember I actually unfriended this girl who I had known it when we were younger in high school and stuff. And her father was like a pastor or something at a church, and she just battled a lot with insecurities and became very promiscuous and stuff like that, just a lot of unhealed things. And she got around a lot when she was a teenager. And then she had a really bad marriage, had two children. It ended disastrously, but all her dirty laundry is like on social media. And
Oh.
then she ended up posting, remember that the challenge right at the new year where it was like the 10-year difference, 2012 to
Ah,
2022.
I actually love that. That was so much fun.
It was so much fun. I was laughing too because one of my friends posted, she's like, y'all have some balls to be posting pictures of how ugly y'all were 10 years ago. She's like, I did not. Like, it was hilarious to me. I was like, she's so funny. So like I did one, right?
Uh-huh.
And I had a negative comment. Of course, it was from a man. I ended up deleting him. He said he liked me
Good.
better 10 years ago. I'm like, it doesn't matter. You're married. Focus on your wife. That's what I
Right.
felt like
It
telling him.
was so gross, but
It
yeah.
was. So I deleted him. And then I actually saw this girl that I'm talking about, right? The pastor's daughter that was battling a lot of self-worth problems. She still does because she saw my post and then she posted her own. And the what she had put, Mel, it was so bad because she was like, I'm still the same weight I was, because she was very thin in high school and or when she was younger. And she's like, I'm still the same weight. I bounced back right after both my kids. I don't do this. I don't get plastic surgery. Never had any of this. Like, I'm a real woman. I'm like, whatever. Like, she went on to, yeah, like compare herself a lot. to other women, and I'm like, oh my god, like the level of insecurity and
Right.
lack of self value there was
Right.
very obvious. So I was like, this is really gross to me, and she's severely unhealed, and I need her off of my feed. So I
Yeah.
deleted her because honestly, it's like you can have a bleeding heart for people and want the best for them, but
Yeah.
if they lack so much self awareness, and
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
work on their own shit, they gotta go. They gotta go.
They
You gotta
do.
go. You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here, honey. Goodbye.
No. And that I just did that too to someone that was just like his like self-awareness, like his ego was so high. I'm like, dude, like how can you like really I'm like, do you not remember? I remember some of the shit you're telling me, and your like version of it is like not correct. I'm like,
Mm.
seriously, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, you're gone. You're gone.
Yes. And it's such a bummer to me too, because sometimes we do have people like we want to be friends with or we are friends with, and they lack so much self-worth that
Yeah,
they bring you down. And then like
they do.
they judge you, they project all of their bullshit onto you. I mean, I think I told you about this one friend I had. I like adored her and I thought she's so beautiful and wonderful.
Yeah.
And I found out like all of these things she had said about me. I mean, it
Oh,
was
and
so terrible.
it is terrible. And that's why it's so important that you really need to surround yourself with like-minded people.
It really is.
And that's probably, I would say, one of the first steps to like start healing yourself and to start feeling that you are enough and that you are worthy of the life that you want to have. Um,
Yes.
we've talked about tapping as far as one of the things that helps remove some of the blockages. I think it's one of our favorite things we like to talk about, and it works so well. What would you say is like another like good routinely thing to do to like help make yourself like start on that journey of feeling self-worthy?
So one thing that I believe is very powerful is writing, journaling.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Journaling helped me pinpoint underlining issues that contributed to my feelings of unworthiness.
And when you mean journaling, because some people have never journaled, like, do you journal your day? Do you journal your feelings? Do you journal, like, what do you start writing? Like,
So if it was someone that they're not really big on writing, they kind of don't like it, they're not really into it. Um, I've always said to make it really simple, even if it's like two or three sentences, even if it's one sentence. And it's to ask yourself a question and then answer yourself. I know it might sound silly, but it's very powerful. It's very insightful. So if there's something that's lingering that's bothering you and you don't even know what it is, you don't even know, you're not even sure what it is, you can just be like,
right,
why am I upset? Why do I feel depressed? Why do I feel unattractive? You know, um, it's really bizarre how when you ask yourself things, you will answer yourself. We do it all the time in our head.
I know.
It's no different. You're just putting it on
Right,
paper. And when
right,
you put it on paper, you actually start to tell yourself a story and you see where all of it comes from. You see the root cause. It will get you there. And so when I started journaling and I realized that a lot of my pain and suffering and everything, it came from my childhood. It came from what I saw.
mhm,
It came from how others projected their bullshit onto me. And I took that on. And then I started to make decisions in my life based on what I was taught,
right,
right? Because I was taught how to feel.
right.
Even if someone's not saying it, they're acting like that when you're a child and you're
Yeah,
witnessing it and you're taking it in.
right.
you know so I looked at all the bad relationships, the abuse that I went through, the decisions I made, self-destructive behavior, the promiscuity, the drugs, everything, and I was like, I never felt good about myself ever,
Hmm.
ever. And I was able to trace all that. And so journaling really, really, really helped me, and asking myself these questions, these tough questions. And it's awkward. It's awkward.
It is awkward when you first start journaling, because I journal and it is awkward at first, but I have also received a lot of healing from just journaling, because you and I, we have some very similar lives, very similar but different upbringings,
Mhm.
um, but the reflection is the same. And once you start seeing that on paper, and once you start writing is so powerful, so powerful. Yeah. What would you say, like, as another tip to help yourself with, like, self, like, worthiness?
So one thing is positive self-talk,
Oh, amen. Amen to that.
because
Like,
yes,
yes, hands
because
down.
we talk so negatively to ourselves and about ourselves. And okay, so here's one thing that I started to do is, it's like people expect you to be negative and complain about something.
Yeah.
That's a given when you're at work, when you're doing whatever, when you're like, oh my God, I have the worst luck, or oh, this happened, or I can't seem to just get right, or even if someone like compliments somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I decided to put on makeup today so I don't scare people. I mean, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's that
Yeah.
negative, yeah, that's negative self-talk. Okay. Like even it, and I'm not even, that's just a portion of it. There's way
Yeah.
more that goes on in our head, right? So, positive self-talk worked a lot for me. It still works a lot for me when I'm like, I am beautiful, I am smart, I have come so far, I'm making it
Yeah.
happen. I mean, those like I have read, and I know you've read this too, but it's like I am are the two most powerful words in the English language.
They are. And like, it is so true. Like the self-taught, like I think that's one of the biggest even things with me that has helped me also, is that I feel as now that self, like, talking of changing that has worked tremendously. And I know, like, some people, like, don't like this type of behavior, but it works with me where, we'll be joking around, but it's not really joking around. And you be like, Mel, you're so fabulous. And I'm like, I know. Like, or yes, I
Exactly.
am. And we're conditioned to be like, oh my God, did she say that? She has an ego. There's something wrong with her.
Hmm.
Why? Why are we, like, criticizing people for not putting themselves down? Like, we should be like, oh yeah, you are beautiful. Or why aren't we saying, yeah, you know what? Thank you. I love this shirt, or I do look great today, or I do look fabulous. Why is, like, when people say that, we put them down for it?
You're probably going to be like, what the hell? But my first thought was the Bible. And it's not, I mean, I shouldn't really say the Bible, but I mean, because there's a lot of great stuff in there.
Yeah,
But
there is, but
amen.
that's so funny. Um,
But
I just
like
have to laugh because, I mean, if you know me, like, personally, everyone will know, like, my thought process on the Bible. So honestly, what I'm thinking in my head, and I'm gonna say, oh hell yeah, Ash, like, totally.
because I mean, think about it. We are taught, especially in religion, and religion has
Yeah,
dominated the world for
it has
centuries.
dominated the world.
I mean, in pretty much every religion, you're taught to, be humble. You're not supposed to. You can't. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it was so bizarre to me because when I had my spiritual evolution, I was very devout, and I was a very devout Catholic, and I even used to think this going into mass, and I would be like, why, why am I made to feel unworthy of God's
Mhm.
love? But then
Right.
it's okay, you're forgiven, you know, it's okay. It's just, it was, to me, it was just so contradicting. I was like, wait, I'm worthy, I'm not worthy. What's happening here? And I used to teach this stuff. I used to teach Catholic education. It was crazy. So I just feel like, I feel like religion has a heavy impact on that because it's been passed down for centuries. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you go to a mosque, if you go to mass,
Yeah.
if you're Southern Baptist or
Yeah.
you're Wiccan or pagan or whatever. That is in there. Being humble and not being boastful. You can't be boastful.
Yeah, which I highly disagree with, like strongly, like on so many levels. Like, I'm sorry, but that's fucking bullshit. Like, I'm gonna say it. You should be able to wake up every single morning, no matter what size you are, no matter what color your hair is, no matter if you have like makeup down to your cheekbones, which don't ever sleep in your makeup, ladies. But uh, you should be able to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I am worthy. I am wonderful. I am worth everything in my life. I am gorgeous. I am strong. I am, everything. And to be conditioned to look in the mirror, I know some women who can't even look at themselves in the mirror.
It's so bizarre.
Like they can't like literally, I mean, and I'm not talking about look at yourself like doing your hair, your makeup or whatever, but truly look at yourself and say, "You know what? I am beautiful. I am a great mom. I
Mhm.
am a great, hairstylist. I am great at what I do."
Yeah.
And it's sad to me. It's so sad.
I know. Well, I was saying, I'm like, that's so bizarre. But you know what? It's not because I remember on what our previous episode when we were talking about plastic surgery and stuff, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror naked before my surgery, like before I had my tummy tuck, because I just felt like I was so hard on myself about, how my body looks after having two C-sections and gaining and losing weight and the stretch marks and all the things. So it was very difficult for me because I was conditioned to believe that that's not how I'm supposed to look. And my mother battled weight and was bigger and she had two C-sections and all this stuff. And people were just like, ugh, about her and how she looked. And she got scrutinized a lot for her weight. And so I associated that with myself. And so I can see that. I can see why it's hard for some women to look at themselves in the mirror. I totally get it. I get it.
It's sad. It hurts me.
Yeah.
I just feel everyone should wake up and look at themselves and know that they are beautiful. They are so beautiful.
I know. And you know what else? I was just thinking about this. Women who scrutinize other women also for getting work done.
Yeah, that makes me
It's a,
mad.
yeah, it's a
I know,
big thing.
and what's even worse is I know women who like will get work done and then scrutinize other women for getting work done and acting like they're all natural. Ooh,
Yes.
gross. Don't do that shit.
Stop it.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, I totally agree because it's and some people are like, well, God wants you to um be natural. It's not natural. It's not natural. I feel like do what makes you feel good. And I've seen women, I mean, shoot, there was one lady I was working with recently, and she had a lot done to her face, a lot. And I knew she wasn't happy with it. I
Mhm.
knew she didn't like it, and but I mean, the only thing I thought was, man, I just felt for her. I felt for her,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I wasn't sitting there being like, oh my God, oh my God. No,
Mm.
no, no. And that plays a lot. That plays into a lot of women not feeling good about themselves, so they're projecting and putting other women
Right.
down so they can feel better or feel some kind of value,
Yeah.
so it's just really, we have to get to a point. I mean, I know you and I have talked about this, but you and I got to a point in our lives where we didn't want to continue feeling like this.
Yeah. I was sick and tired of feeling like that. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened with me is that, and it got to a point too where not only was I sick and tired of feeling that, but I was also sick and tired of people. Like, sick and tired of the way people treated people and the way I was being treated by people.
Yeah.
And I literally put myself in a bubble and I worked on myself. And I only
Yes.
let a few people in that bubble, let me tell you. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of people in my bubble. And if you come into my bubble and I don't like your behavior, you're out of my bubble real fucking quick. And that's the freaking
Yes.
truth. Like, you get one chance.
Yes. Yes. I
and and
yeah.
that's just because I've gone through so much. And a lot of people have gone through a lot. And you got
Mhm.
to take care of yourself.
You do. I
You
mean, even
really
if
got
it's
to take
listening,
care of yourself.
and I'm telling you, anybody listening right now, for me, I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to things that were uplifting,
Yeah.
that were positive, to
Yes.
help shift my mindset and how I was feeling about me and my life.
Yeah.
Podcasts, books, journaling, holistic, like, uh, techniques like the EFT we talk about, meditation. Mel does the sound frequency we just talked about last
Oh my
episode.
God. I love sound frequency. I think that is a game changer for me.
I mean, anything, walking, yoga, light work exercise, going and um, doing something with like-minded individuals that are positive and uplifting. I mean, there are so many things that you can do to shift how you feel. And I just feel like there are people that just get stuck thinking, oh, well, no, there's just this one way. There's just this one way to be, but there's not.
No, we're all made to be on this planet for a reason, and it's to be different.
Hmm.
There is not one of you on this planet. Not one. I mean, really think about that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing and it's special.
Yeah, you're right.
It's very
So
special.
I agree. I don't know. I love this. I love all of this talk. I just want everyone to feel good, damn it.
Yeah. Hell
Everyone needs,
yeah.
who needs to feel fucking good? We need to get over this conditioning and change this. We need
I
to
agree.
shift society's standards. That's what we need to do.
Yes, we do.
So
Yes.
this was great. This was great.
Aw, I like this too, Ash.
Me
I
too. I'm so
know.
excited. You know what I want to do also?
But
I'm in the show notes, of course. I always put our contact information for our listeners to reach out to us and stuff like that. And then what I'm also going to do is I really want to put your salon business in the links.
oh, hell yeah.
I'm gonna do that, y'all, you guys, especially anybody in Wisconsin or your wig line's gonna come out soon too.
Yeah, I'm like working on that. I'm working on the online business part of it. Like I'm going to have an online business with that. So I'll be selling those online along with the makeup line that I sell, which is Marabella. And I love Marabella makeup. So, um, and as we continue with these podcasts, little by little, Ash and I will both be talking about um, our little specialties, which includes the cosmetic care, the hair care, and like skincare and injectables and all that fun stuff. So
All things beauty, baby.
all things beauty.
So I want to include that also because it's so
Thank you,
important that
dear.
we support other women and stuff. So I love
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
So also, if you are into supporting other women or you would like a shout out on the podcast, I want you guys to DM us on Instagram or DM us on Facebook or send us an email and we will shout out your business
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely.
because we are all about supporting other women. So
Yes.
we love you guys. Thank you for listening and we will see you next week.
See you next week.